Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. The Ministry of Transport and Communications opens the Mahmoud Sinao dual carriage road for traffic movement. The Public Authority for Electricity and Water operates the first solar-powered water pump as the Water Research Center at Sultan Qaboos University studies the rising levels of underground water. And the 7th edition of the Infra Oman exhibition is opened at the New Oman Convention and Exhibition Center in the Governorate of Muscat. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. After the completion of paving 181 kilometers, the Mahmoud Sinao dual road is officially opened for traffic movement. The road, which was designed with high specifications and standards, is considered one of the vital roads that link the Governorate of North Sharqiya with the Governorates of Dakhiliya and Muscat. It will activate economic and touristic aspects and increase social contact among peoples of the Governorate. It will also enhance to attract more investments in the Duqm economic zone. All traffic safety regulations and weather conditions were taken into account in designing all parts of the project. His Excellency Engineer Salim bin Mohammed al-Naimi, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Transport and Communications, said that the ministry is working to implement recommendations and reports which were prepared by experts to rehabilitate the damaged part of the Wadi al-Aq road. A number of projects are being carried out by the Water Research Center at Sultan Qaboos University, meant to explore the effects of climate change on water resources in the Sultanate and study early warning systems to prevent water pollution. One of the prominent projects is the study of rising levels of underground water in some areas of the Governorate of Muscat. In cooperation with the Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources, especially after the side effects caused by this phenomenon, which led to damaging infrastructure of the affected areas, seeking to find useful solutions. The study of the dynamic oxidization of coastal groundwater through changes in water levels on the coastal strip of the Sultanate is another project of the center. Making use of solar energy to operate the first well water pump in the area of Wadi Sigani in the Wilaya of Samail in the Governorate of Dakhiliya is considered as one of the modern techniques being implemented by the Public Authority for Electricity and Water. This well is considered the first one affiliated to the authority, which works through solar power to pump potable water to citizens in the Governorate. This step reflects the authority's approach towards benefiting from renewable energy to implement such projects. The project took 6 weeks to complete and around 40 solar panels were used with a production capacity of 1 kilowatt per hour. It's worth mentioning that the daily production of Wadi Sigani will reach 2,200 gallons of water per hour, which is supplying enough water to 80 households in the area. 49 topics were reviewed by the Joint Technical Committee concerned about implementing future urban planning mechanisms in the Governorate of North and South Sharqiya and Al Buraimi. The committee in its meeting focused on investment, economic and planning projects for changing the usages and heights of buildings. The meeting was presided over by His Excellency Engineer Saif bin Amr al-Shakhsi, Under-Secretary at the Ministry of Housing, head of the committee. The 7th edition of Infra Oman exhibition, one of the largest building and construction expos in the Middle East, was opened at the New Oman Convention and Exhibition Center in the Governorate of Muscat. The exhibition has been continuously defining the industry's development for the last 5 years. It's considered as the annual meeting place for industry leaders, suppliers and buyers in the Sultanate of Oman. Infra Oman has proved to be an ideal starting point not only for the local companies but also for foreign entities that are more determined to be part of Oman's growing market. Around 200 companies from various countries around the world took part in the 3-day exhibition, which has been improved this year to provide local and international companies and stakeholders with an unprecedented and unique opportunity to explore innovative and practical solutions, as well as to network with suppliers and buyers from around the world. The opening ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Rashid bin Assaf al-Haraibi, Chairman of the Tender Board. And still to come in our news bulletin. Musandam Governorate is an attractive touristic destination as it enjoys beautiful beaches, extended coastal strips, moderate temperature and mountainous areas. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran has warned the United States against revoking and undermining a landmark nuclear deal. Ali Akbar Salhi said he did not want to see the Iran nuclear deal unravel, but cautioned that the delusionary negative postures of the current US administration do not augur well at all. Salhi said the failure of the nuclear deal would undermine the political credibility and the international stature of the US in this tumultuous international political environment. US President Donald Trump is set to deliver a speech on Iran this week, in which he's expected to decline to certify Iran's compliance in the landmark 2015 agreement, referring it to Congress and perhaps targeting the country's Parliamentary Revolutionary Guard with new sanctions. Liberians gathered today to vote in an election that, for the first time in more than 70 years, should see one democratically elected government hand power to another. As Africa's first female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, prepares to step aside, many called for peaceful and fair elections. Nobel Prize-winning Sirleaf has led Liberians' transition from a 14-year civil war that ended in 2003 after killing more than 250,000 people. More than 2.1 million voters have registered to vote at nearly 5,400 polling stations throughout Liberia. 20 presidential candidates are vying for a majority in the first round of elections today, while nearly 1,000 candidates from 26 political parties fight for 73 seats in the House of Representatives. Given the high number of presidential candidates, it's unlikely anyone will win more than 50% of the vote, taking the elections to a second round, likely in November. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrived in Serbia's capital late yesterday, flying in from the Ukraine, where he visited earlier in the day. Erdogan was welcomed at Belgrade's Nikola Tesla Airport by his counterpart Alexander Vučić and a member of the Serb government. The Turkish leaders will spend several days in the Balkan nation for talks on bilateral cooperation and Turkey-Serbia Business Forum and a visit to the southwestern city of Novi Pazar. The welfare of stray animals roaming Iraq's capital Baghdad is far from priority for most residents after years of bloodshed and insecurity. Homeless animals typically face cruelty or even extermination on the streets of the city. But now some pet lovers are looking to use social media to change attitudes and find loving owners for the four-legged friends. Here's a report.
At this pet store in Baghdad, Hassan is visiting animals in need of a home. Along with a friend, she started the project in June to save vulnerable strays from the Iraqi capital streets. The 22-year-old student says she decided to take action after witnessing animals being subjected to abuse, some even poisoned or killed.
Many people buy pets at expensive prices, so why not bring in these animals, take them to the vet and clean them so people can adopt them?
Most of the work is done online through the project's Facebook page, on which people post information about strays in need of help. After sifting through the photos, Hassan puts the animals up for adoption. So far, she says feedback has been mostly positive.
But we've also been getting negative feedback. People say, why are you helping animals? They don't have feelings, they don't understand. It's not the most important thing. You should focus on helping people.
More and more people are using similar methods to rescue strays. These vets own an animal clinic. They set up an animal welfare organization, also using social media as a tool.
Most of the animals we receive have been subjected to abuse. They've been hit by a car or mistreated by adults or children. Children need to be taught how to love animals. They're local animals. Society also needs to learn how to love them.
The project set up by Hassan and her friend has already allowed 25 animals to find a home. 11-month-old Majnouna is one of them. Her leg was injured after she was hit by a car. When owner Marina first saw her, it was love at first sight.
I believe that we're meant for each other, and I like the feeling of responsibility. I like to give what I can to any creature. The moment I change her bandage and see that her wound has healed, that's worth all the efforts I've put in throughout the day.
Majnouna, which means crazy in Arabic, will soon be fitted with a prosthetic leg. giving her a new lease on life in a loving home.
And now back to some more local news. Exchanging points of views between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom were the main aspects of the discussion between His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed al-Nu'mani and Minister of the Royal Office and Major General Thomas Beckett, the Special Advisor at the British Ministry of Defence for Middle East Affairs. During the meeting, they exchanged cordial talks on a number of matters of mutual concern. His Eminence Sheikh Ahmed bin Hamad al-Khalili, Grand Mufti of the Sultanate, received His Excellency Professor Dr. Norbert Lambert, President of the German Bundestag. During the meeting, they exchanged cordial talks on various aspects related to achieving humanitarian peace and harmony, in addition to getting rid of hatred and encouraging tolerance. His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council, received His Excellency Professor Dr. Norbert Lambert, President of the German Bundestag. During the meeting, they reviewed the bilateral relations between the Sultanate and Germany in various aspects. They also exchanged points of views on supporting and developing the relations between both countries. His Excellency Habib bin Muhammad al-Riyami, Secretary General of the Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Cultural and Science, received His Excellency the President of the German Bundestag and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, they discussed the cultural relations and ways to exchange knowledge and science in various fields between both countries. His Excellency the President of the German Bundestag was also briefed about the message, goals, as well as the role played by the Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Science to support knowledge and other related aspects on the local and global levels. The Shura Council Office, in its 23rd meeting, reviewed a number of ministerial responses, including the Council of Ministers' speech on the annual reports of the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Transport and Communications. The annual reports were forwarded to specialist committees in the Shura Council to study them. The office also reviewed the Ministry of Health's response to the request on employing graduates of optical sciences from Borémy University. In reply, the Ministry of Health responded that at present there is no opening for this post, as all of them have been filled up. But it said more prospects are being chartered to add this specialization during the coming years. Oman oil price December delivery reached $54.16 per barrel. According to the Dubai Mercantile Exchange, Oman oil price rose by 22 cents compared to yesterday's price, which was $53.94. The average price of Oman oil October delivery reached $50.39 per barrel. That's $2.76 higher than the price of September's delivery. The latest data by the National Center for Statistics and Information sheds light on various hospitals and health centers in the Sultanate. The number of Omani visitors to abroad clinics affiliated to the Ministry of Health reached 16 million. More than 111 surgeries were conducted in the Sultanate's hospitals, with more major operations being conducted in Khawla Hospital. The statistics also show that the number of hospitals affiliated to the Ministry of Health in various governorates of the Sultanate reached around 50, including 20 health complexes and 180 health centers. The Governorate of Musandam, as it enjoys a distinguished geographical nature and unique touristic sceneries, is considered a stunning touristic attraction for tourists from inside and outside the Sultanate. With its moderate temperature, extended coasts, marine and mountainous areas, besides its deep historical civilizational heritage, Musandam is a favorite touristic choice for seekers of recreation in the embrace of peaceful and relaxing nature. Musandam beaches, with its white sand, cover coastal areas stretching from about 600 kilometers and exposed by overlapping of rock masses of exquisite geological plates. For cruise picnics in the shores of Musandam, one could discover its treasures of boundless pleasure. And because the sea is a major component in the life of people there, the sons of Musandam usually embark on their boats, returning with abundant wealth and sustenance from the sea. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate, with chances of low clouds and fogs late at night and early morning over the governorates of Sharqiyya and Wusta and Dhufar. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate, and seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Transport and Communications opens the Mahoud Sinao dual carriage road for traffic movement. The Public Authority for Electricity and Water operates the first solar-powered water pump as the Water Research Center at Sultan Qaboos University studies rising levels of underground water. And the 7th edition of Infra Oman exhibition is opened at the new Oman Convention and Exhibition Center in the Governorate of Muscat. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.